Hello, I'm Anna Kostovska coming from the Josef Stefan Institute, and I'm presenting an ontology-based annotation schema that we have developed for semantic description of data mining datasets. What really motivated this line of research is the pervasiveness of data mining in many areas of our society. And since data plays a central role in data mining, if we want to further widen its use, one of the first steps would be to improve the management of digital data. Many academic institutions have recognized the importance of effective data management and have proposed sets of guiding principles to support and promote data management and stewardship, including the fair and trust data principles. And at the core of nearly all community accepted guidelines for publishing data, we have noticed that lies ontology-based semantic enrichment. So the goal of this work is to provide a rich vocabulary for data annotation that closely follows the fair and trust principles. And we believe that having rich semantic annotations of data mining datasets would support the data mining process at various choice points, such as data understanding, automatic identification of analysis tasks, and reasoning over the obtained results. It will also improve the accessibility and reusability of scientific data. To achieve this, we have developed an ontology-based annotation schema, which combines three different types of annotations. Provenance information, then the second type is data mining specific annotations, for which we have extended two already existing ontologies. The OntoDM core ontology, which is an ontology of core data mining entities, and the OntoDT ontology, which is ontology of data types. The third type of information is the third type of annotations are the application domain specific annotations. So provenance information is the type of information that describes the origin of a dataset, and it is really important to explicitly annotate this information and include it within the data description, since it helps better understand, easily cite, and reuse the data. Also, search engines can index the datasets, which improves data discoverability. To annotate data mining datasets with provenance information, we have chosen the schema vocabulary, which is one of the most widely used vocabularies that provides descriptors for provenance information in a structured manner. Here on the right hand side of the screen, you can see an example of how we can annotate a dataset with provenance information, which is based on terms taken from the schema vocabulary. The second type of annotation considers explicit specification of data characteristics from a data mining perspective. For example, the format of the data, the type of learning task, and the data types. Here on this slide, we can see we have a top-level overview of the taxonomies of data mining tasks, the taxonomy of data types, and data specification, both for the batch setting shown on the left-hand side and for the online setting or for the stream setting, which is shown on the right-hand side of the screen. We can have a closer look at, for example, the taxonomy of data types for the batch setting, and here we can see how the level of details grows the lower the class is defined in the taxonomy. The same also applies for the taxonomy of tasks shown on the right hand side of the screen. Of course, here I'm only able to show a small part of the classes used for annotation, but here is an example of how we can annotate a data stream which is applicable to semi-supervised multi-label classification. And we can see how we can formally specify, or how we can formally represent a multi-label classification data stream and associate it with its corresponding data mining task, and also with information about the data types at data example level, and also information about the data types within the target component of the data set and the descriptive component of the data set. The third type of annotations are the application domain specific annotations, and which formalize the domain or background knowledge. These domain specific annotations are important since they help us bridge the gap between data mining practitioners and domain experts, and they improve cross-domain research and reasoning. So far, we have developed a couple of domain ontologies, which we have used for annotation of neurodegenerative disease datasets and for annotation of Earth observation datasets. Here I will not go into details about how these domain ontologies have been constructed, since this goes beyond the focus of this presentation, but I just want to comment how we can align the proposed schema with domain ontologies, since on a technical level the alignment is pretty straightforward. The proposed ontology-based schema enables direct extension of data type classes so it proposes a direct extension of data type classes at any level of the taxonomy, with classes that define the semantic meaning of domain-specific data types. And then the newly introduced, for example, here we have the mini-mental state examination data type from the neurodegenerative disease ontology, which is defined as a subclass of the integer data type defined within the ontology of data types. And once we have these domain data types, we can link them to the corresponding entities in the domain ontology, but these are not shown here on the screen. The data mining annotation schema that we have proposed has been used in a couple of use cases. One of them is the integration of the schema within the framework, within the SMART SOP framework, where we have been able to formalize and standardize clinical laboratory procedures for neurodegenerative disease assessment. Also, we have used the same annotation schema to develop a semantic repository of data mining datasets, which facilitates the reusability and discoverability of data mining datasets. So to conclude, we have proposed an annotation schema that integrates the different types of information: provenance, data mining specific, and application domain specific information. We have extended the OntoDM core and OntoDT ontologies with classes that offer a more refined representation of data mining data. And we have shown how we have applied this annotation schema in a couple of use cases. The first one being the SMART SOP framework, and then the second one is the development of a semantic repository of data mining datasets. For future work, we plan to extend the semantic annotation schema to support annotation of other types of data, for example, graphs and images, since currently everything is based on tabular data. And we also plan to apply the semantic annotation schema in other application domains. With that, I conclude my presentation, and thank you for listening.